Hey folks, Ted here today with the Exped Gemini II. We'd love to give you a walkthrough on this tent because it's one of the more comfortable three-season tents that's out there. Large room, volume on the inside, still lightweight enough to carry on a back, but when comfort's critical, this thing has the interior space that's fun to show off. So very, very wind-stable aerodynamic design. And we're going to give you a walkthrough on the outside first so you can see what's going on and some of the features that are built into the tent, and then take you onto the inside. First thing you need to know is this is the Gemini II. It's a two-person tent, spacious, very vertical sidewalls on the inside. And you can see just by the architecture of this that we have a very high peak. In fact, if I'm standing here, you can see how tall it is at the entry point, and the zipper doors go that far. So I don't have to do a stoop through and crawl in the mud in order to get on the inside of the tent. And we can see just by the side view there, you've got lots of vertical sidewall into the ends. And the way that the architecture works, it's also extremely wind stable. You'll find this to be one of the most solid three-season tents that's available. Really comfortable, really easy to work with that way. We talk about how Exped tents, all of the guy-out points are actually anchored specifically to the poles rather than directly to the fly material, because fly material stretches. So in this case, right at this apex, to give it even more wind stability, we've gone ahead and anchored one of our guy lines, or traditional guy lines, so you could go ahead and tension it out this direction if you want to, with a stake into the ground. And that gives you even more strength and durability in the wind scenarios, or high wind scenarios. So this also works as an eyelid for ventilation on the inside of the tent. And in the case of the Geminis, all of the Geminis in particular, you've got eyelids on the end of the tent, so you got cross flow ventilation this direction. And you also have eyelids right over the apex of the entries. And that's really important so that you can get high and low ventilation. Helps to minimize the amount of condensation you get in a tent with a full coverage rain fly. So, big vestibule on either side. You'll notice zipper storm flaps covering the zippers. Little Velcro tabs. When I take this and open it up, you'll notice this really spacious vestibule on either side. And I'll show that to you a little bit closer. Two tie-out points to hold the door out of your way. Keeps everything nice and neat and tidy. Before I get into the tent, you'll also notice that all of the anchor points have reflective Dyneema cord, so you've got something you can see in the middle of the night when you flash it with your headlamp or headlight. Same thing with the zipper doors. When I pull the fly back later on, you'll see a little bit more of what's going on there. But I just wanted to get you a sense of what's happening with the vestibule space. Plenty of space for putting a pack, putting my boots, that kind of a thing in the interior. Now I'm going to go ahead and open it up, flip the fly back. This is actually a feature you might even consider working with if you're dealing with one of those iffy nights. You think it's going to be starry, you want it to be starry, but you're just not sure, and you don't want to have the issue of fumbling with your fly in the middle of the night. Go ahead and unclip the fly here. Because we've attached at this point at the top here and here, everything stays in place. Now I can go ahead and get into the tent. I can still stargaze through the inside, and I've got lots and lots of room. And if it rains in the middle of the night, I jump up, snap, snap, and we're done, and it's fully protected. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up the doors. The doors on the Gemini are huge, and what's nice about that, you can see they're really broad. That actually allows two people to sit on one side facing out if you want to. Take the door, there's a nice little handy pocket on the top, stash it out of the way. You can either have both people exiting and entering the tent from one side, or you can have each person have their own door. Once you're inside, again, comfort being the key thing here, we've got a pocket on this corner, we've got a pocket on the opposite corner, and both at the foot ends on either side. So loads of space to kind of stow your gear. I don't know how much you can see through the mesh or what you can see through the mesh, but I want to point out that I can actually crawl all the way back into here easily, to put 4 people into here to play a card game when heavy weather. Gemini is a great tent, comfortable tent to take out in the backcountry with loads of room on the inside. You'll love this tent.